First of all, sometimes people do a lot of bitching and complaining about Chinese parts, and I don't want anybody to stop uh, watching me. And sometimes I respect a real man when you make a mistake and you admit up to it, like, I should have fixed this thing a lot sooner than what I did. That was one of the things. I have a friend that interrupted. I was trying to begin the video, and they needed a tow truck. I told them to call me back if they got one, so obviously they did. Because if not, I said if I don't hear from you in 20 minutes, I'll call the guys that I know. I actually gave them those guys' phone numbers, so I know they're going to go get the guy. But anyway, I want to show you a lot of this stuff, like this hose clamp. If anybody's ever worked on one of these Chevys, okay, this hose clamp was on the heater core, all the way down underneath that air conditioning, and I had to discombobulate everything. You see, the clamp is distorted, by the way. That's not the size of heater hose. But this is what happened when it slipped. You see, you can't even turn it out. It just spins. But anyway, I don't know how it got that small. And I think my kid got a hold of it. Maybe he was pressing it. My kid was here. It was the weekend. But anyway, 2.5 hours because of a shit piece of clamp. I just checked some of my old Ideal clamps with my micro caliper. If you guys know what a micro caliper is, it's a lot like a veneer, but a lot more sensitive. And the new clamps from Ideal are about 1/1000th of an inch thinner, and it probably didn't increase the size of the tightening screw, the Paul screw there. I mean, come on. Summit Racing. The weather turned cold. I started smelling gas. The carburetor's loading up with gas. This thing was leaking. You can still see the wet spot. Because normally, wet spots, I like girls to have the wet spot, not my fucking fuel pressure regulator. Okay. What can we come up with next? Another bad clamp that wouldn't tighten, and then you couldn't get it off because it was tight enough to get tight, but not tight enough to keep the leak. Made in China, folks. You know, enjoy. And this is the stuff you're buying at Advanced, Tractor Supply, AutoZone, all the same cheap Chinese alloyed white metal crap. That's not even, in here is lead. Inside this is lead. It's a lead alloy. You know how I know that? I'm a metallurgist. I have a degree, master's degree. That's how I put airplanes together. So then I buy an alternator off of Advanced Auto Parts. And it's not running right, and it wasn't running right, and that's the thing where I admit things were my fault. When the weather was warmer, I should have addressed this, because right now my nipples are so hard I could cut glass like a diamond. The weather really sank. I mean, the temperature really went down, and I should have been doing this man's medaling on. I'm going to medal in this bed on this Ford F-250 if you guys want to catch that. So I was the guy that suggested to Summit Racing, we're like in the modern century. If you remember when I was having the problems with the heads for my son's truck that looks like this, like my truck here, the red one. If you guys remember, I said, we're in the modern effing century. Can't we text? I can show you a picture of what I'm working with. And then there's another bitch. Okay? You want to be a professional auto parts and hot rod and speed. You know, I can't call up anywhere. Getting a bulk package price. I'm about ready to light a cigarette up. I'm so disgusted. My blood pressure gets up. There was something in the air too with this exhaust, these trucks that go by. Look, I'd love to buy a bag of freaking hose clamps. A bulk pack has this, has that. But you know, you can't do that anymore around here. Just go to a supply house. They don't want to deal with you unless you're $1 million account and they're charging the shit out of you on the APO credit and stuff like that. Okay, I mean, if you're an amalgamated product consumer, fine. But how about those little guys? That's why the smaller shops, the smaller businesses are closing up, because there's nobody to service us. If they do service us, it's mega pesos. So you're not a small business. You're basically, your ticket is punched. So my suggestion to Summit, I'd love to stock brake line fittings and have an assortment, and have a bin, like we used to have it. We had a speed shop, and that's what my grandfather did on his weekends. He worked there nights. My grandfather that started the business with his disabled veteran brother Maynard and my dad. And my grandfather would come in on weekends, and he would see what we were out of, and he would call up Snyder's Auto Parts. And by Monday or Tuesday, the Snyder Auto Parts guy came and delivered the stuff and put it in the bins that we were out of. It was as simple as that. But you can't even call up anywhere and say, hey, I need this, that, and the other thing, because they're hiring retards. DEI. People that should be doing dishes at McDonald's and that stuff, they're there taking your phone call because all they can do is read a CRT. They don't know sizes. Hey, I need 5 feet of 3. Anything that you got that's 3/8 regular fuel line. They don't know regular fuel line from fuel injection line. They don't know a regular clamp from a fuel injection clamp. Sometimes somebody shows them at the store. But that's not the way, Advanced Auto Parts says they're in financial trouble. You're goddamn right when all you did was hire retards. And the retards that you did hire, Advanced Auto Parts, AutoZone, you abused the shit out of those people. You and your management. Okay? I don't know how Summit treats its people, and I don't ask because there's no Summit stores here. But I guarantee you, these people are working at home in their bedroom slippers. They're not really professional auto parts people either. So where do we go from here? You write in the comments. Sorry about coughing in my video. That's why I still smoke at my age. Because, you see, they don't want to hire guys like me. And even if they could, they couldn't afford me. Okay? Got to get out of China, number one. And you got to get out of that, I'm going to get the guy that's going to work for nothing because he lost his job somewhere else, and we're going to treat him like shit and make him work 7-8 days a week. You know what? The end of my video. I think people catch my point is I'm dealing with this shit, and there's nothing like doing a job 2 and 3 times over, or doing a job that's going to pay your bills for the rest of the month, okay? And you got to set that aside because your stuff broke, and you can't even call up and you got to go get everything yourself. I need fittings for this truck. I got Holly Ann back. I smelled gas all the way back there in October, beginning of October. I was smelling gas, and I didn't know really where it was coming from. And I don't really use this. I use this to scoot back and forth to the store. I gotta close her hood. She's getting full of stuff. So, oh boy. Okay. I must have left something under the hood. I'm up. When I'm wound up, I'm wound up. I think I left that fitting there by the thing. Anyway, get my point. It'd be nice just to call up and somebody knows sizes. You get a 3/8 ID, a true 3/8 ID instead of OD. I spent half an hour on the phone explaining to an AutoZone employee ID and OD, and they still didn't get it. Outside dimension, inside diameter. I don't know how they can afford to pay somebody that stupid. If you were that stupid, you'd have to pay me to work for me. I mean, honestly, and I'm sorry to be like I am. Like I said, please let me know in the comments, because I know a lot of guys are saying, hey, it's not just you, but I mean, this is getting to be the epitome of the pits. Thanks, folks.